Hello and welcome to Voices from the Park, our listening project, where we hear about the lives and thoughts of some of the wonderful people of the South Pennines Park. Today, we're listening to...
I'm Alex, live in Oldham. I often visit South Pennine Parks for various activities, including dog walks. I've had a dog for a few years now. He's getting on a bit, he's 10 years old and he's a big dog, so he's slowing down, he's got arthritis, so he can't go very far anymore. When I take him out, I tend to just take him around the estate. It's very much built up, but it needs to get out, and it's all I can do because I don't have access to a car. When my mum takes him out, or we both go to a park, or often go to a cemetery, sometimes we'll go up onto the moors and go for various walks around the moors and the South Pennines area. It's nice because it's away from the town, you know, it's out in the open in the countryside. It's more relaxing and start. There are fewer people, fewer dogs, which is good when your dog's scared of other dogs. And just the scenery, you know, it's quite it's beautiful really, the moors. We always mix it up a bit, so we go somewhere new every time. Just trying to think back to... So we've been to the more common, well-known places like Alnmouth Lake, and then we went to the reservoir next to Indian's Head. I think it's really important because it gets quite drab and dull living in a town. Everywhere you look, it very much looks the same. Red brick building after red brick building. Not very exciting. So it's nice to get out on the moors. The air quality as well is noticeably much better. I used to walk up to Oldham, up to the actual town centre, and in the morning at rush hour you can smell it, you can even taste the fumes and you can feel it hit the back of your throat. You certainly don't get that up on the moors. And it's nice as well, it changes more with the seasons. Like generally in towns, even in the winter, you get snow but it never sticks, it just melts. But when you're up on the moors, it's, you know, you see the changing world. In the winter it is actually cold. And then in the summer you can get some beautiful days. I mean, it still rains a lot, but sometimes you get nice summer days. In towns and villages, I often go there for charity shops. You want bargains I can get. Yes, I went to, I think it was Home Firth. There's a charity shop there, and we asked whether they had any records in the back. They had a few out, none of them were really taken me fancy. So they had a look, came through and came out with some, and it was a James Brown album. Please, 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 it's called. Wanted £1 for it. Oh yeah, I like that, you know, there's some good songs on there. And got home, had a look, it's worth about 40. I mean, I'm not selling it, I like it, but yeah. Oldham's very much an industrial town, or used to be. Plenty of mills, a lot of which have unfortunately been demolished since. Yeah, it was very much a mill town. I believe Oldham produced more cotton than Germany and France combined back in the Industrial Revolution. But there are a lot of houses as well in Oldham that were built as factory houses and houses for the mill workers, and they're still occupied, you know, today as just houses, and not everyone realises actually how old they are. Unfortunately, they weren't always the best quality, so I think the people who live in them do realise how old they are when they start falling apart. It's very urban. There are some parks, but they're not very large and not very populous, shall we say. They're not dotted all over. From my experience here, parks often have less of a focus on nature. You'll have play areas or like an open field. And it's not really nature. You know, it's not natural, and you've not got much diversity. You know, even if it's not natural, to have a range of plants, and it attracts more wildlife, more biodiversity as well. It feels less man-made, even if it is still man-made, you know. It feels less sterile. Sorry, the dog's just come back from a walk. He's excited. I've completely lost my train of thought. Oldham does have a youth council, so I'm a youth councillor. Youth councillors are elected by their peers in a school, college, sixth form place of work, up to the age of 21 or 25 with additional needs. And it's our role to represent the people in our place of education or work and people in Oldham more widely. Sorry, young people I should say. Climate change and environmentalism is very much pertinent, not just in general but especially with young people. Changes are going to have to be made, not just because of climate change, but also because we're going to run out of fossil fuels. Even if we don't do anything about climate change, there's going to be a point where we're going to have to stop using fossil fuels because there aren't going to be any left. It's not all on the people either. It's often far more expensive to get environmentally friendly products. Packaging, paper and cardboard packaging is more expensive than cheap thin plastic bags. Cars as well. Electric cars still are really expensive, even second hand. A lot of people can't afford an electric car. So I think the responsibility ultimately falls down to everyone. And the easiest way to get everyone to sort of play their part, citizen or an organisation, the best way to change behaviours is through legislation from Parliament. We have youth councillors who go out and about. We have 2 members of Youth Parliament, and recently they asked us to send out like a questionnaire to people that we know, young people we know in Oldham. And so we send that out so we can send it to like a college and post it on social media, and people will just respond so we can get their view that way. It sort of gives a sense of purpose, being able to go to somewhere and talk about the opinions and problems that your peers face and know that something can be done about it, because we do make a difference, whether it be through our campaigns or motions to full council. So Oldham Youth Council is the only youth council in the country that has it written in the constitution that we can send a motion to full council, which then councillors vote on, and that motion will be a suggestion of what the full council should do, or it's like a topic for them to focus on with their own legislation. So it gives a real sense of purpose and belonging, and it's also nice to meet other people in Oldham, at the Youth Council, because we all have our own different experiences. We're all from different areas. So it's a real sense of purpose. I want to get into local politics. I'd like to be a policy advisor, because I feel like there's a lot that can be done to make areas in and around Oldham more inviting, and I think as well better advertised and more accessible. Thinking public transport, because it's an unreliable service, it then puts people off using it. Even if you don't have anywhere to be at a specific time, it's still a hassle. And I think there's a lot of hassle that can be taken out of life. A lot of the smaller villages feel a bit cut off. When I'm looking on Google Maps and looking for ways to get there on public transport, it's often quite a lengthy walk from a neighbouring village or town, and sometimes it takes an inconceivable amount of time to travel really a few miles. So I think public transport plays a big role. It's private businesses, so it's sort of they do what they want and they're not directly accountable essentially to the public. So I want to stay in local politics, and I met someone nearly a year back now. They said that they want to leave the place that they're from a little better than it was when they came. And I think that's a nice motto to live by.
Water, grit, blood and dirt, we're the proudest folk on earth. Pennines pulsing through our veins, bringing us home.